Before we go any further, I need you to do something for me. Just a small thing. Look around the room you're in right now. The corners, the doorway behind you, that little space under your bed. Feels safe, doesn't it? Familiar. That's what I thought too. But some places, some stories, they don't stay where you left them. They follow you home. And this one's been following me for 3 years now. Ever since I went to Adams, Tennessee. Ever since I spent one single night at the old Bell Farm. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications, the little bell, because tonight, I'm not just telling you a legend, I'm telling you what happened to me, and I need you to stay until the very end, because I have a question for you, a question I still can't answer myself. I've covered a lot of haunted locations for this channel, abandoned asylums, cursed forests. I thought I knew what fear felt like. A racing heart, a cold sweat, but the Bell Witch, that wasn't just fear. That was the absolute, soul-crushing realization that something knew me, something that has never been human. You've all heard the basic story, right? Early 1800s, John Bell and his family moved to a farm in Robertson County, Tennessee. At first, it's perfect. Then one day, the family starts hearing things, knocking on the walls, scratching. Chains dragging across the floor, but there are no chains. Then the voices start, whispering in the dark. An invisible woman who calls herself Kate. She sings hymns, she quotes scripture, but she also slaps children in their sleep, pulls blankets off beds, and targets John Bell with a hatred so deep it can only be described as demonic. The official history says John Bell died in 1820. Kate took credit. She said she poisoned him, and when they checked his medicine bottle, a strange black liquid was inside. The legend says that after his death, Kate screamed with joy at his funeral, and then she went quiet. But she never, ever left. That's the history. But what the books don't tell you, what the ghost tours leave out is that she gets inside your head. And she doesn't need a house to haunt. She haunts people. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the beginning, to the exact moment I made the worst decision of my life. It was late October, 3 years ago. I'd driven 6 hours alone from Nashville, winding deeper and deeper into the countryside until the GPS signal died and I was left with nothing but a paper map and a sick feeling in my stomach. My plan was simple. Visit the Bell Witch Cave on the old property, maybe film some B-roll, talk to the caretakers. I'd be in and out before sunset, but when I got there, the place was closed for the season. Big sign, see you in spring. I remember laughing to myself, sitting in my car in that empty gravel lot. I'd come all this way for nothing. The only thing around was a small cabin about 200 yards from the cave entrance, a little wooden thing covered in kudzu. It was supposed to be a vacation rental, but it was clearly empty. I figured, what's the harm? I'd sneak in, film a few minutes of creepy atmosphere, and leave. No one would ever know. I grabbed my flashlight and my camera, and I stepped out into the cold Tennessee air. And that's when I felt it. The silence. It wasn't peaceful. It was the kind of silence where you can hear your own heartbeat, where even the birds have decided to be somewhere else. The wind would blow, but the leaves wouldn't rustle. It was like the whole world was holding its breath. Now, pause right there. I want you to ask yourself, have you ever been somewhere that felt wrong the second you got there? A place that made your skin crawl for no reason you could explain? If you have, type red flag in the comments right now, because you will understand why I should have listened to that feeling. And if you've never felt it, count yourself lucky. All right, back to the cabin. The door was unlocked, which I thought was my lucky break. I was so stupid. I remember the smell the moment I walked in. Damp wood, something sour, and underneath it, the faintest trace of lilac perfume. Weird, I thought. The power was off, so I was relying entirely on my flashlight. The beam cut through the dark, and I saw this tiny living room, a fireplace full of ash, a rocking chair, and on the wall next to the bedroom door, an old photograph in a dusty frame. I walked up to it. It was a family portrait, sepia-toned, probably from the 1800s. A stern-looking father, a tired mother, 3 small children, and standing off to the side, almost hidden in the shadows of the photo, was another figure, a woman in a long black dress. Her face was long, blurred, like shed moved her head just as the shutter clicked. I remember getting really close, squinting at it, and for a split second, I swear I saw her eyes. 2 dark holes, staring right at me. A floorboard creaked behind me. I spun around so fast I nearly dropped the camera. There was nothing there, just the empty doorway leading to the bedroom, but the rocking chair was moving, barely, just a tiny, rhythmic swaying. I told myself it was the draft. I even said it out loud, like a prayer. It's just the draft. But I didn't believe it. The bedroom was worse. There was an old iron bed frame with a bare mattress, stained brown with age. I filmed it, narrating in a whisper about the history, but I kept feeling this presence. You know that sensation you get when someone's standing right behind you, breathing on your neck? That's what it felt like. A cold spot, hovering just over my left shoulder. Then, the scratching started, very faint, coming from inside the wall next to the bed. I thought, rats. It had to be rats. I put my ear against the cold plaster and listened, and what I heard was not an animal. It was a rhythm. 3 scratches, a pause, 3 scratches, like a fingernail drawing out a message in code. Suddenly, the scratching stopped, and a woman's voice, so close to my ear that I felt her hot breath, whispered one word, Benjamin, my name, my actual name, that I had never said out loud on camera, that wasn't on any reservation, nothing. She knew my name. I ran. I ran out of that cabin, and I did not stop running until I was inside my car with the doors locked and the engine screaming. I floored it down that dirt road, not looking back, my hands shaking so violently I could barely hold the steering wheel. When I finally reached the main highway and the streetlights came back, I pulled over and I just sat there, crying like a child, and not ashamed to admit it. It was the most primal terror I've ever felt. I told myself the nightmare was over. Id escaped. But, my friends, that was only the first night, because Kate doesn't need you to be in Tennessee to find you. I got home to my apartment in Nashville. I was exhausted, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw that blurred face in the photograph. I started sleeping with the lights on, and things in my apartment began to move. Little things at first, keys not where I left them, cupboards opening in the morning. He'd wake up at exactly 307 a.m. every single night, a time I later learned is historically associated with the Bell Witch's most violent attacks. I'd lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, and I'd hear footsteps, heavy boots walking up and down my hallway. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I yelled into the dark, "What do you want from me?" And my bedroom door slammed shut with such force that the pictures fell off the walls. I called a friend, a local historian who knows the legend inside and out. I was desperate, sobbing into the phone, telling him everything. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked me a question that turned my blood to ice. He said, "In the cabin, did you touch anything? Did you take something?" My mind raced back to that night. The photograph. He had reached out and straightened the crooked frame, trying to see that shadow woman's face. He had made contact, and in doing so, he had invited her in. According to him, the spirit of Kate wasn't attached to the land anymore. She was attached to anyone foolish enough to pay her attention. She fed on curiosity, on fear, on me. I told him, Therese got to be a way to get rid of her, a cleansing, a blessing, something. He just laughed, a hollow, hopeless laugh. The Bell Witch, he said, has killed before. She killed John Bell by giving him a sickness no doctor could cure. And you already look sick, my friend. He was right. Id lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. I had dark circles under my eyes. My reflection in the mirror looked like a stranger's. I decided to fight back. I set up a voice recorder in my bedroom, like they do on all the paranormal shows. The next morning I played it back. The first few hours were just me snoring, tossing and turning. Then, at 3:07 a.m., the sound of my bedroom door creaking open, footsteps approaching the bed, a long, wet breathing sound right next to the microphone, and a voice, not a whisper this time, but a clear, raspy voice that sounded both ancient and childlike at the same time. Leave this one alive, Kate. Has ours to play with. There were 2 of them, or one thing with many voices. I don't know. I never recorded again. I smashed the device to pieces with a hammer, but the nightmares that followed, I can't even describe them. Visions of an old man, John Bell, I think, convulsing on a bed while an invisible hand squeezed his throat. Visions of myself in that same bed, my eyes rolling back in my head. Let me ask you something. Do you believe that places can hold evil? That a hatred so old it predates electricity can seep into the dirt and the water in the walls? Type yes or no in the comments, because I didn't. Not before. The turning point, the moment I truly accepted I might die, came on a rainy Tuesday night. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, when the sheets began to tighten around my legs, slowly at first, then with immense strength, crushing my ankles together. I tried to scream, but an invisible pressure covered my mouth, hard and cold, like a rough hand. I couldn't breathe. I thrashed. I clawed at the air, but there was nothing to fight, nothing I could see. As my vision started to tunnel and black spots danced in front of my eyes, I heard a woman cackle in the corner of the room, a sound of pure, ecstatic cruelty. She was enjoying it. She was killing me, just like she killed John Bell. Right before I blacked out, the pressure vanished. Air flooded my lungs. I fell off the bed, gasping and crying. And on the wall, written in what looked like old, dried blood, was a single sentence, "You are not the one." Yet, I moved out of that apartment the next day. I burned every piece of clothing I'd worn in that cabin. I changed my number, deleted my social media, basically fell off the face of the earth for a year. And for a while it worked. I thought I was free. I met someone, I got a new job. I tried to convince myself it was all a psychotic break, a mental illness brought on by stress and an overactive imagination. But you see, the legend of the Bell Witch doesn't have a happy ending. That's the whole point. John Bell died, and Kate promised she'd return in 100 years. She did, and she promised to return again and again. She's a parasite that jumps through time, through families, through the attention you give her right now by watching this video. 3 weeks ago, my new apartment started smelling of lilac perfume. My partner woke up with 3 long scratches down their back. I heard a child singing Rock of Ages in the hallway at 3:07 a.m. And last night, when I was editing this very video, the screen flickered. It went black, and for one single frame, a face appeared. A woman with a twisted smile and hollow, endless eyes. She was holding a photograph, the same one from the cabin, and my face was in it now, standing right where she used to stand. So here is my ending. I don't have answers. I don't have closure. All I have is the certainty that when I go to sleep tonight, she might be standing at the foot of my bed. And if this video suddenly stops, if I disappear, you'll know where to look. Or maybe I'll see one of you there. In the cabin. In the dark. Because she needs new friends. She always needs new friends. Before you go, do me a favor. Look in the mirror. Look deep into your own eyes and ask yourself, are you certain you're alone? Because I was certain once, and I was wrong. If you survived this story, smash that like button, share it with someone who doesn't scare easily, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. I have to go now. Shess calling me. Good night. The screen cuts to black. The soft sound of a woman's distant laughter echoes, then silence.